Good morning and hello. Welcome back to the Nobody Show. And even if it's not, a morning time for you, whenever you are watching this, morning, afternoon, evening, night, early morning, whenever that is, welcome back. I love doing these little podcast things. So, hey, when I continue it about one a week, it's not too bad. But today, I haven't really been in touch with the world as of this week, so I cannot really comment on the things that are going on as of now. I know a few, but I've been kind of drawn away because I've been, busy with school and different things. So today, I decided to do more of a thing that I want to talk about, and that's movies and entertainment, just the things that I'm looking forward that are coming out later on this year or early in the next year. I know I did something similar like this in the first video I put out. I'm pretty sure that I might even be the same thing. But there's a lot of other things that I've kind of found out as of recent, or that I've actually started looking forward to even more. And I just wanted to put a little more emphasis on that, a little more like, hey, this is what I like. So to start this off, we're going to be going into the realm of movies. That's movies into later this year and kind of early in the next year, I believe. I think there's like one or two that are early in the next year that I'm looking forward to as of right now. But we're going to dive into that, tell you, what I'm looking forward to, what I like, what I think I'm going to like, what I think I'm not going to like, just a little bit more background history. But I got my laptop, got my coffee, got my list, everything is ready to go, so let's get started. So first off, let's start out with movies. Now, later on in this year, there's a lot of good movies that are coming out. You got Coco, which is going to be an animated movie. You have Thor Ragnarok, which I'm looking forward to. Jigsaw, it's a horror movie. I don't know how I'm going to like that, but we'll see. I'll get into that later. There's also other movies that are coming out that many people probably haven't heard of, like a war film that's called Thank You for Your Service. There's another one that's coming out early next year called 12 Strong, I believe. That's with Chris Hemsworth. So there's a few that I'm looking forward to. But let's start off with the animated movie Coco. So Coco is this new animated movie. I think that's being put out by Disney. Production companies, Pixar, Walt Disney Pictures. It's about a kid who ventures on into the land of the Day of the Dead. I know he has his grandfather's guitar, and it centers around like family and things like that. And I'm actually really looking forward to it. I don't regularly go see animated films, especially if it's something that's like not put out by Pixar or Universal. But in retrospect, I love when Pixar puts out new things because in terms of like the animation world, they're kind of like, like the king, like the cream of the crop, and anything Pixar puts out isn't bad unless it's the Cars franchise, although that can be argued for some people. But other than that, everything's pretty great. I'm really looking forward to it. The art style looks great. It looks like it has a lot of heart and a lot of, kind of just grounded storytelling, especially for like the Hispanic community, being with, the Day of the Dead, that the main character of Coco is a Hispanic boy, and just kind of dealing with a lot of family values, which I know that amongst the Hispanic community or people, it's kind of a big thing. So I'm really excited and looking forward to that. Again, of course, because Pixar is also making it. You can't go wrong with that. And anything that Pixar has their name attached to, I automatically get excited for. So I think the last Pixar film that I actually saw, or maybe even the last one they put out, I'm not sure, was Frozen. And a lot of people are like, hey, that's, it's whatever, that, it's a kid's film, but it was great. I loved it. And, it is a kid's film. It is kind of more of a musical, but I mean, what do you expect? Like, it's still a Pixar film. It was still great. I still loved it. And I'm looking forward to Coco. So that's the first one on our list. Next, we're going to have the movie Jigsaw, which I know it's kind of like a on some people's radar. But for me, I'm kind of looking forward to it. It comes out next week. I believe the 26th is when it comes out. So next Thursday from when I'm filming it today on the 21st. Or this coming up Thursday, you can say. I'm looking forward to it. I really am. Because, I meant to correct myself. It comes out Thursday night with some late night screenings, but the whole release date is on Friday the 27th. So sorry about that. Anyway, so what can't I say about these? Well, let's see. I Saw has a special place in my heart for me. I'm not like too huge of a horror fanatic. I do like horror films. Your classic Jason and Freddy and Halloween and Texas Chainsaw. Like I love all those. And recently this year, 2017 has been a fantastic year for horror films. You had Annabelle, which was actually a really decent horror film. I really liked it. You had Get Out, which probably is the standout horror film of this year. My God, it was fantastic. You had, I think, Lights Out came out this year, which was pretty good. I don't know if Don't Breathe came out this year or late last year, but that one was fantastic. I love that film. It came out this year, which, God, it just blew the doors off of everything. So it was awesome. So it's been a really, really good year for horror films. And with Jigsaw, I know I think, like the ninth film in the Jigsaw franchise. There's a lot of Jigsaw films. But I'm looking forward to this one because, like I said, Jigsaw has a special place in my heart. I've seen all of them, I think, except like the last two most recent ones. But I know I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4. I even think I saw 5. I don't know how many go after that, like I said, because I haven't seen them, and I heard they just kind of fell off after that. So I didn't really go check those out. But I like the Jigsaw storyline just because it dives deep into like what would you do for your humanity, and kind of delving deep into like the psyche of some people and what would you do to fight to survive, and hence like the complex traps and the gore and everything like that. And with Tobin Bell coming back, who is is Jigsaw, he's the voice of that you hear in all the trailers, the voice that people kind of attach to the Jigsaw franchise. And with him coming back, I'm a little skeptical because I'm happy that he's coming back because, he's like the center point, the focal point of this whole franchise, obviously. But at the same time, if you saw Saw 3, no spoilers, what happens. So I think it's Saw 3 at least. So I'm really not sure on where this fits in into the franchise, and I'm not sure how it's going to work because they can say, do a cheap cop out with the movie, or say like, oh, this didn't happen, or whatever. I don't know where they're gonna take it, but I'm just interested to see what it's like. Now, I don't necessarily know if it's gonna be good, obviously, but I'm just excited to see it, and I'm happy to be able to go back to the Saw franchise and revisit it, and hopefully in a really positive and effective way. So if it's good, I'm excited for it. If it's not, at least they tried. But that's what I'm kind of looking forward to in the realm of horror as of this year, to kind of close out the year, so to speak. Now, going a little more after that, I guess we're just kind of going order here, is Thor Ragnarok. What can't you say about this movie? I am just drop dead excited. All the trailers that they've been putting out are fantastic. Now, for me, I'm just already sold on Thor Ragnarok. When they announced like, oh, Thor Ragnarok's happening, the Hulk's gonna be in it, Hela's gonna be in it. We in the trailers we've seen pictures of Surtur, which if you don't know who Surtur is, he's this giant like, on fire hell looking demon type guy. He's in it. The cast that they've picked out for this movie is fantastic, and so for me, I'm more of a person that I'll watch one trailer, maybe two, and that's it. Like I'll stop reading articles about it. I'll stop looking at trailers about it because I want to be as excited as I am going into the film. With knowing maybe little bits and pieces of things here and there, but mainly just focusing on the footage that I haven't seen. That's been in the trailers that I've avoided because I'm already sold on it. If you know me personally, I'm a huge comic book nerd, and Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, Image, like. I read comics, collect comics. I've seen all these movies. I've been a huge, as people would say, quote unquote, sweaty for years, and I'm already sold on it. Now, diving into kind of the trailers and the look of the movie, it looks fantastic. At least to me, like the colors pop, the costumes, the designs that they have chose for the characters just pop out and are so just extravagant and so different from everything that we've seen in the other Thor films. Now, granted, the other Thor films are more alien-esque and out there, so it's kind of expected. But there hasn't been this much color in these movies. The colors pop. It's like like Jack Kirby, who is a comic book artist and writer and everything. It looks like he just threw up on this movie, and that's what came out. And I'm just really excited to see it. I'm really excited to see what Hulk is gonna do in the movie, and Thor. I know it's kind of like a buddy cop-ish film, but I'm really excited for that the Marvel is choosing to do these different themes in their movies, throughout them all. Like with Ant-Man, you had the heist film. With Captain America, you've had like kind of like the spy espionage-esque film. With Doctor Strange, there's more of like I guess like the wizard sorcerer type film, which I guess you could put that in like the fantasy, and now with Thor Ragnarok you have fantasy slash buddy cop movie, and I'm really excited to see that and to see what they do. I know there's going to be elements of Planet Hulk in there, which I don't want to spoil that if nobody has seen it or read it, but I know there's going to be elements of that, with Hulk being in his gladiator stuff. With Surtur being in there. I know this is probably going to close out, if not get close to closing out, the Infinity Stone arc leading up into Avengers 3. So I'm just so excited to see what they're going to do with this movie. And like I said, the cast is amazing. At Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo. You have Jeff Goldblum as not the collector, the Grand Master. You have what's her name? I can't remember her name right now off the top of my head. Let me look at Cate Blanchett. That's her name. Cate Blanchett as Hela. Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie. Like, my God, that cast is just so good. And I don't know how you can get much better than that. Like all these Marvel movies that they've been making throughout the years, the cast just keep getting better and better and better. And this one is just so exciting. Kind of branching off of that, going into way next year in February, I know the Black Panther trailer, the first one, just dropped. I believe it was earlier this week on Tuesday or Monday, I think. It might have been. But man, does that thing look awesome. I am so stoked for that film. It looks great. Like the way Wakanda is portrayed in that movie, going through the barrier that surrounds Wakanda and just seeing this beautiful vast land. And for those that don't know why, Wakanda is like that, because Wakanda holds vibranium, which is the most precious metal in the comic books. I think it is the first hardest metal next to adamantium, I believe. That in the Marvel universe, and people want it for the riches it brings them and the rarity of it, and Wakanda is like just the birth ground for that. And on top of that, it's just this rich, vast place for people to thrive and grow. And it's T'Challa's kingdom that he essentially runs, and it's hidden, in this barrier that nobody knows where it is except for the people from Wakanda and a few select outsiders, albeit being in the Marvel universe. But like you hear in the trailers when Colossus says, El Dorado isn't in South America, it's in Africa. And he's referencing that to Wakanda because it's just this place of riches and just this vast just upbringing of its people. And it portrays that perfect of the trailers. It pops with color. You see, these extravagant buildings and structures and the architecture and just how the people are portrayed. And I love that the movie is so different from all the others. I love that it's an all African American cast. I know there's a few others who aren't, but I know it's the first Marvel movie to have like a whole African American cast, and it's just dives deep into the Black Panther lore and how he's supposed to be portrayed, King T'Challa. And you have these women who are his strong guards that are in this movie, and it's so important to have women portrayed that they can be these powerful figures to guard the king, and I think that's amazing. And everyone in that movie looks fantastic. The costume designs look great. The color pops. It just all looks awesome. And the music in this movie has been so important, and just the music choices they've had for these trailers sound and look so great. And I cannot wait for this film. I'm so jazzed, so excited, but I'll get into that more probably in another video. when more footage gets released, more pictures get released, interviews, things like that. Anyway, let's bring it back to movies later on this year. Kind of branching off more comic book films, we're going to hop into Justice League. Justice League is another film that I'm really looking forward to, not only because I'm just super excited for it, but also because I'm very curious about it. Justice League is directed by Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder. I don't know how you say his name, but that's how I say it. Anyway, there's been kind of a bit of drama surrounding this film. Zack Snyder was the leading, and it still is, I believe, the leading director on this movie. But halfway through shooting, I know he had to left due to some family tragedies that he had to deal with, and Josh Whedon stepped in. And for those of you that don't know Josh Whedon is the creator and directed Buffy. He directed the first two Avengers movies. He's directed just a number of things, and he's kind of a renowned director and writer as well. And I'm kind of curious because after Zack Snyder left, Josh Whedon stepped in. And, the news kind of coming out of that is that he shot not more than half of the film, but pretty close to that. And there's been a bunch of reshoots, a bunch of rewrites, kind of differing from, what was already there. And, the studio has come out and said, it's not different. It's still Zack Snyder's vision. Just Joss Whedon is directing that, but there's still been some tweaks. And, obviously that's kind of, just press coming out and saying like, it's fine. Nothing's really changed. But, when one director steps out, a new director steps in, the visions are going to change. Some of the dialogue and stuff is going to change, and I'm excited and curious to see that mix because, Zack Snyder isn't a bad director. There's movies that he's made that are great. There's movies that he made that aren't so great. And Josh Whedon is also a great director. He gave us the first two Avengers. I know people say Avengers 1 is better than Avengers 2. I liked both, but I'm interested to see what he's going to do stepping into this film because also you got to remember that I think a lot of Wonder Woman buzz coming off of that movie is now leaking onto Justice League, and a lot of the reshoots are like let's put more Wonder Woman in it. If you see the trailers, Wonder Woman has been in that movie a lot next to Batman, and Wonder Woman is kind of stepping in to be kind of the face of DC, because when you think of DC, you think Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, but you predominantly think, Batman, Superman. But here now in the film, we're seeing lots of Wonder Woman, up front, and lots of Batman, but the focus seems to be more on Wonder Woman. And I'm excited to see, what Josh Whedon, despite all things that's been going on with him aside, he directs women very well. Like, he's directed Buffy really well. He directed, like I said, in Avengers, Black Widow very well. He's good at directing these strong, powerful, women who are heroes. And that's why I'm interested to see how he's going to direct Wonder Woman alongside these other characters throughout the film. And this movie looks so much fun. I love the take that they have on Aquaman being kind of that like surfer beach guy. It seems pretty cool, and I'm really excited to see the Flash. He's the one I've been hearing that steals the show, and kind of just the one that looks like he's having the most fun. So I'm really interested to see Justice League, how that's going to go, how great the movie's going to be. And, where Superman also fits into all this. Because, Superman's coming back. Like, Superman's part of the Justice League. Why wouldn't he be in there? Like, if you don't have Superman in this movie, at least in some retrospect, that's a huge mistake. Like, he's coming back. You don't have him on the posters and things like that. They're trying to hide him for the film. But he's coming back. And I want to see Superman come back in that black suit, man. That black suit and that beard. Now, I'm not the biggest unabashed fan of Superman. I actually don't like him as much as I do Batman and the rest. But I will say, like, man, does he look cool in that black suit and with the beard. Like, that's pretty badass. Other than that, though, he's going to fit into the film. I hope they make everybody a badass in this movie, and I'm really excited to see that. So, stepping away from comic book movies, getting into some others, there's a movie coming out that's called Murder on the Orient Express. It's actually a remake of the first Murder on the Orient Express, and the cast looks super stellar. You got Kenneth Branagh, Johnny Depp, Daisy Ridley, Michelle Pfeiffer, Judi Dench, like just a super amazing cast. And it's one of those movies that's a crime drama, obviously, but mystery, crime drama. And it's one of those, like, someone dies on a train and there's all these certain, only a certain number of people, and one of the people did it and you got to find out who, kind of like Clue. And I'm just super interested to see that film. I haven't seen the original, but my interest is very, very piqued for this remake. So I hope it's a good portrayal of it, and I hope the movie is great in itself. From the trailers, I kind of have an idea of who might have done the crime, but I haven't read any prior synopsis to it. Haven't seen the movie. I don't want to, because I don't want to ruin it for myself. And for all I know, they could change it. I don't know. But it looks great. The characters look awesome. The actors look awesome. So that's a movie that I'm really interested to see. I'm trying to stay away from it, because when it comes to these mystery movies, once my interest is piqued, I'm done looking at anything else, because I'm like, I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to ruin who did it. But if you haven't seen the trailers for it, if you haven't read kind of the synopsis for it, I would strongly recommend going into that just to kind of pique your interest. But then don't read any prior knowledge to it, just to not ruin it for yourself. From there, we're going to go into a smaller film. Well, I wouldn't really say smaller, depending on who you think is in it, but smaller in retrospect to Justice League and these Thor Ragnarok, Jake Sullivan, these Oscar films, is actually Jumanji. Jumanji comes out in December of this year, pretty sure. And December 20th, and it has a pretty fun cast, I would say. You got The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, kind of taking down that lead role, but then to him you also have Karen Gillan, you have Kevin Hart, you got Jack Black. In the trailers, we know that Nick Jonas has been in there a little bit, and it just looks fun. Now, the movie might not be great. I mean, by all means, who knows how good it's gonna be? I mean, I don't know, but it just looks fun. And I'm really interested to see that, just these kids being sucked into this video game, not a board game with Jumanji, taking a different take on it, and, putting them into that environment, switching into The Rock, into Kevin Hart, into Jack Black. And it just looks funny and lots of fun. And I'm really interested to see where they're going to take it. I'm really excited to see the dialogue and the quips between The Rock and Kevin Hart. If you know anything about them from their Instagram feed, or the way that they talk to each other, or the movie Central Intelligence that they worked on, them two are just super hilarious together. I'm interested to see Jack Black and Kevin Hart, how they interact, as well as Karen Gillan, I believe her name is. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name wrong. And, her and The Rock and the other characters as well. And how Nick Jonas fits in all this. Is he a character that, was kind of lost in Jumanji and just stuck in there? Or is he just another character that's inside the game? Seeing him act alongside these other people. So I'm interested to see it. I just want to see it, like I said, just because it looks fun. It looks like a good time. And I who doesn't love The Rock? How are you not going to like The Rock? It's The Rock. Like, come on. So that one I'm looking forward to. The next movie I'm looking forward to is, I guess you can call it more of an Oscar bait film. Oscar bait movies are ones that come out toward the end of the year, December, November-ish, get that limited release type, or later on to this year that we're going into. It's called Thank You for Your Service. It's a war film that has Miles Teller in it, who plays the lead role. He's a soldier coming back from war, and just getting adjusted to life, essentially. It's from the trailers, it sees him kind of getting used to his family and recognizing that, this is, my wife, this is my daughter, but having missed out on a lot of, stuff with his kid, and getting used to that, just getting pretty much back into the world. And throughout the trailer, you see some soldiers, saying like, hey, this, I'm not used to this. Like, I'm used to, doing what I did in service. And, this isn't where I belong here in real life, and just kind of adjusting to that, and then coming back and adjusting to family and where they're from. And it looks really, really interesting. I mean, I love Miles Teller. He's one of these actors that I think in the next few years is going to hit it off and go places. I mean, he already has in some retrospect, but I feel like he's not quite, hasn't hit it huge yet. He's very, picks these very good projects to go into, besides the Fantastic Four. But with that aside, I think he's a really good actor, and I'm really excited to see where this movie goes. I'm really excited to see how it's gonna play out, and it just looks interesting. I like these kind of war dramas that come out. We had American Sniper in the past couple of years too, which I thought was also really good. I love that movie. So, I think it's going to be a good film. Like I said, I'm interested just to see where it is. It just looks like one of those slower movies you can sit down, kind of enjoy it for the story and not so much of the huge action piece it puts on or, all these like superheroes. It's more of a grounded, real life film. So that's another one I'm looking forward to. Now, closing out the year, getting into December, have to talk about it. I'd be kind of wrong not to. On Christmas Day, oh no, not on Christmas Day, December 15th. Sorry, my bad. Who wouldn't talk about Star Wars The Last Jedi? I mean, what can you not say about this film? It's probably not the most, but one of my most anticipated of the year. I mean, you got that, Justice League, and Thor Ragnarok are probably my most anticipated, and like I said, nerd. But I mean, man, I don't know where this film's gonna go. I really don't. With the ninth one that came out, or Star Wars, no, God, I'm getting all mixed up today. I can't speak. With the last Star Wars film that came out, Rey's kind of, lineage is very shadowed by, who her parents are. And everyone thinks like, oh, it's Luke. Everyone's like, no, it's not Luke. It's, it's so-and-so, or it's not that person. It's this person. It's Obi-Wan. It's blah, blah, blah. And I kind of like leaving it in mystery, shrouded in mystery, I think is great because you just get this strong, female character who comes from a mystery background. You don't know who her parents are. You don't know where she's from. And I think that's pretty cool because, why does she have to be, related to Luke? Why does she have to be related, to Obi-Wan or anybody? I mean, if she is, cool, that's great. I'm not going to have any problems with that. But the world building, continuing to expand it with different characters is awesome. And discovering just this outsider who has this just insane amount of power is cool, in my opinion. And just, like I said, expanding it from there and just having an outside source coming into that Skywalker story and playing a huge part, I think is awesome. And especially being a woman character, woman Jedi is great. Now, from the trailers, there's been some speculation, like, is she going to go to the dark side? Is Kylo going to win her over? Is it going to be, Luke against Kylo and Rey on the dark side? Who knows what it's going to be. But I feel like this movie is going to be super dark. I hope it answers a lot of questions as to where Luke has been, why he's been this way, the power of Rey and her training. I hope it answers that where Snoke is from, or what he's doing, or who he is. I mean, there's kind of a lot of there's a lot of speculation on who he is or where he's from because, nobody really knows, unless you like read the books and things like that. But what his power is, what kind of purpose does he serve, and as well as Kylo, like just seeing him continue to build. And, is his struggle with the light, from the dark side going to win him over? Or is he eventually going to banish out all of the light and just be completely dark? And I think that's why I personally like Kylo so much, is because he's just this imperfect Sith. There's light in him, but he struggles with that so much and just wanting to be part of the dark side. And you still see it even in this trailer, just struggling with the decisions that he's making. And, is this the right thing I should do? Should I be doing this? Is this who I am? And I like that personally. I like him. I like his costume, just the character that they portray him as. And I mean, the same thing with Finn. Like, Finn was in the last movie a lot, but I'm interested to see where they're going to take him in this film. Not so much being a Jedi, but more being that human-esque character. Same thing with Poe. The relationship between him and Finn, how that's going to play out. And just Poe, being, just a pilot and seeing how that's going to, play out. Same thing with Luke. I really hope Luke lights up a lightsaber in this film because I was really disappointed in the last one, that Luke didn't, appear till the end of the movie. Spoiler if you haven't seen it. I'm pretty sure everyone and their mother has, though. And I know that it's kind of moving away from the original trilogies into something new with, old characters peppered in throughout. Granted, that's awesome, but I really hope in this film we get to see Luke in action and, see just kind of the power that he has acquired from the original trilogies into, now, being like a Jedi Master, and is he gonna be the last Jedi? I mean, and I'd hate to say it, but is Luke gonna die? Is he gonna bite the dust, or is he gonna live throughout this film? Who knows? The poster looks great too. It gives that just dark over sense, but that little bit of light in there, that last little hope that is still instilled in the Jedi. So it's really exciting. I'm really interested to see how it's gonna go and how this movie is going to play out. So that's kind of it for me so far on the movie spectrum of things. But let's move on from movies into some games that I'm looking actually really forward to. Well, that I'm really looking forward to. It coming out this year. Sorry, I'm going to take a sip of coffee real quick. I need to wake up, man. Man, can't speak today. So in terms of games, which actually is really funny, I actually just got a job at GameStop, so super excited about that. It's going to be a good time. But in terms of video games, I know I've gone over this before. The Evil Within just came out about a week ago, and I'm really excited to play that and see where the story goes. The first one's really trippy, kind of just deals with a lot of psychological horror, and this guy named Ruvik, and just the mental insanity of him and just the kind of trippy things he takes you on. And the Evil Within, it's just fun to play. Like, it's a horror RPG. It makes you feel that real sense of just like pursuit horror, jump scares. The design for the characters are just super creepy. And I mean, just even in parts of the game, just when you think you're safe or like, oh, this is a safe space, nope, changes it on a dime, and it's not. And it always keeps you on your toes whenever you play. So I'm really interested to see how the second one's going to play out, where they're going to go with it, because the storyline left the door open, but it gave you a few answers, but like I said, it left the door open as well for what you can expect. So I'm really interested to see if they're going to play on that or something entirely different. Another one I'm really, really looking forward to is Assassin's Creed Origins. Now, with it, there comes some kind of drama because a couple years ago, they started putting out just all kinds of games. Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Assassin's Creed Rogue, Assassin's Creed, all kinds, more and more and more. Assassin's Creed Water Park. That's not a real one. I'm just joking. But with Origins, there's been a lot of news coming out that, the game's different. The play style's different. There's less of these missions people don't like. There's more of this. And it goes all the way back to even before the first one. So kind of seeing where the assassins come from. Now, I hope it's cool, because when I think of Egypt, I don't necessarily think assassins. But if they want to go that route, I'm interested to see that, because I feel like there's a lot of cool things you could do with that. The Egyptian, kind of customs, and, you have Anubis and the other gods that you can explore along with the assassin lineage, and how the Templars play a big thing, and pharaohs and kings and all this stuff. I feel like it has a good layout and the groundwork is there, but if the story execution can hit it, awesome. But if it can't, I don't know where it's gonna go from that. I also hear this is the biggest world that they have. I just don't hope that. I hope it's not, oh, this is the biggest world we have, but a fourth of it is just desert because it's Egypt. I really hope that's not it. I hope it explores lots of other things. So I'm really excited for that. I know in Syndicate, at the end of the game, you can unlock kind of a little time, little splice in time in the map, and it sends you to a World War I. Kind of more, not present time, but more of the, present-ish, away from what we're used to. And you explore the daughter of one of the assassins in Syndicate. And now, that was kind of exciting to me. because I'm like, okay, we're just going to keep jumping forward in time, maybe get a World War II one, which, you could do like the Temple on the Nazis and how that factors in. You got world leaders, Stalin, Hitler, Churchill, a lot of just the U.S. stuff. You got nuclear war, all kinds of things you can explore. And I'm like, that seems pretty cool for an Assassin's game. But, needless to say, they went back, way, way far back, which is okay. I'm just interested to see how that's going to play out and how it's going to go. So, again, it's a look forward to, but also kind of I'm interested to see how it's going to be type of game. Those are the only two I'm really looking forward to for the rest of the year. I'm also looking forward to Fighter Pack 3 of Injustice 2. I've really been enjoying Fighter Pack 2. I love playing as Raiden. Well, not Raiden, but Black Lightning more per se. I love Black Mana. Still don't have a Hellboy trailer. I mean, for all I know, we could have one, up by the time this video goes up. But no trailer for him yet, no gameplay trailer for him yet, nothing for him pretty much. So, I don't know when that's going to come out, but I'm excited. I know for Fighter Pack 3, they came out with Adam, just announced him, which people were kind of like, why would you put out a character for Fighter Pack 3 and not a trailer for Hellboy? But supposedly, the biggest surprise is Ed Boon, who is the kind of face for Mortal Kombat and Injustice, came out and said that Fighter Pack 3 is going to have someone that's like super surprising that nobody saw coming and blah, blah, blah. And the thing is, people are like, it's probably Spawn, which personally, I hope they keep Spawn from Mortal Kombat 11. I think Spawn would thrive in the world of Mortal Kombat, just being a demonic figure, mixed in with the fatalities, the combos, the violence of that game. I think he'd fit in perfect for that. But I mean, hey, if they put Spawn in this game, whatever, it is what it is, but we'll see what we get. Moving on from that, to kind of close out this podcast, we have moving into the television side of things. And for TV, a lot of shows coming back this fall. You got your on cable shows like The Walking Dead, Supernatural, The Flash, Arrow, all those big superhero shows coming back. And to be honest, those are the shows we're going to be talking about because, like I said, huge nerd. But I'm really interested to see where The Walking Dead is going to be this season, because last season, oh man, for me, it was great. I loved last season. I know some people might not have. I personally did. I thought it was great. I hope this season we see more of Negan, because Negan is just freaking awesome. Every time he's on screen, you have no idea what's going to happen. Is somebody going to die? You don't know those things, and just this sense of eeriness and pressure, and just always walking on eggshells when he's on screen, because you never know what's going to happen. And he's just one of these great villains that you love to hate, and I love that. And he's just so cool. So I hope we get more of him this season. I hope we get a little more action, not so much filler toward the middle of the season, because I know that's always the thing where, the season starts off great, and in the middle it kind of gets a little flat, and then it picks back up toward the end. So I hope, they kind of just have that all throughout. I know in the last season, too, there's also these Negan episodes in the middle, which were kind of refreshing to see, because, like I said, Negan is just awesome. He's a great character, so I hope we get more of that this season. Supernatural going on to season 14. God, I have no idea. I gotta look this up real quick. Let's see what we got here. I believe it's season 14 that we are going into. 14 seasons for a TV show. Jesus Christ. I don't know. Oh, season 13. Sorry, season 13. 13 seasons of a show. Dear God. At this point, I don't even care anymore. 13 seasons. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of seasons where you go from there. But the fan in me is I never want to see Sam and Dean, go away. As weird and crazy and just insane as these storylines get, and these characters, and who comes to play and who doesn't. Where do you go? Every time a season ends, I always question, where do you go from here? How do you go up from here? You've reached the tip top. How do you go up from here? And somehow they manage to just, we're going to do this now. It's holy crap. Okay, well, I guess you kind of went up yourself, but all right. So it just gets crazy and just insane. But at the same time, I love Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki on the show. I love seeing the dynamic between Sam and Dean. And all the other core characters. Now, if you watch the last season, you know how that season ends and how kind of crazy it gets, and it leaves you with a lot of questions, like how, like literally, last season when it ended for me, I'm like, how, where do you go from here? How are things gonna change? So, I'm really, really interested to see where that's gonna go. How Crowley's gonna play into this if he has it all. Same thing with Cass. How Cass is gonna play into it if he has it all. Where Satan is at, where their mom went. Just like how, like just literally how, like what are you gonna do? Like what? I don't know, but I guess we'll see where it goes, and hopefully it goes somewhere good and not too insane. But then again, it's supernatural. There's you can never go anywhere but up. So I guess we'll carry on my wayward sons. Anyway, from there we're gonna move into more of the comic book realm. So the Flash, Arrow, we're gonna get into. I don't really watch Supergirl or Legends. I'm trying to get into Legends, trying to get into Supergirl. It's just a little harder for me to get into than the other shows. But Arrow, let's start with that one. I like Arrow. I like that it's kind of returning to promise like it did in season 1. Season 1 was kind of one of the greater seasons for Arrow for a lot of people, and then it kind of fell off for them. For me, I liked a lot of the seasons. I think it was season 4 of Arrow that I really didn't like because I know that they had, him and, oh God, I can't think of the name right now. Oh my God, him and Roy, together in the season, and with the whole, again, it's alluding the League of Assassins and all of that jazz. I really liked that. I really liked Ra's al Ghul and the League of Assassins along with Oliver and how that played out. I know that a lot of people might not have liked it, but I did. Last season, I also really, really enjoyed, with the DA and the Archer. I thought it was really good to revisit season 1 and to have somebody affected by that coming back and just wreaking havoc, for Oliver and recreating just some of the things that he did to now hurt him. I thought was pretty cool, and I really liked that. I really liked at the end of the season, you saw Oliver go to this dark place where, all my friends and the people I care about are not around me anymore, and I'm alone. I need help. Who do I go to? And you just bring back all the badass characters. You bring back Slade. You bring back oh God, what's his name? I cannot remember. You bring back his sister's father, whose name is eluding me at the moment. I am very sorry, and you bring back as well, the League of Assassins characters, and just kind of to wreak havoc on everyone. Malcolm Merlyn. God, how did I forget his name? So like I said, you bring back Slade. You bring back Malcolm Merlyn. Just all these characters just to be total badasses on the show at the last episode or last couple of episodes, and just help them out and kind of take care of the issue. So I really hope that this season plays up on that. I know at the end of last season that Slade kind of gets away. I mean, you really, they don't ever show it, but he does. He's Slade. Like, how wouldn't he? So I really hope he plays a bigger part in this now, just being him. So we'll see where it goes. Same thing with the Flash. I know last season the Flash kind of ended on a little bit of a sour taste. Last season of the Flash was kind of, I don't know. A lot of people liked it. I enjoyed it. I didn't quite think it was fantastic, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Savitar and everything. I kind of called it being him mid-season. I'm like, I that's probably the why. It's probably Barry. And lo and behold, Barry from the future or whatever. So, on top of that, they're like, oh, they're gonna kill the love interest. They never do, and it's someone else, and it's I don't know. I kind of called it, mid-season toward the end. I'm like, okay, it's probably not her. It's probably this character, and this is probably him, and all this other stuff, and it was. So, I hope this season's a little better. I hope they explore more of that. I enjoy when Jay Garrick comes back, so I hope they have him somewhere in this season. And of course, I'm always looking forward to the crossover episodes with him and Arrow, Supergirl, the Legends. So we'll be interested to see how that's gonna be. And last but not least, The Punisher on Netflix. I mean, man, I am super excited for The Punisher. I mean, for me, I love all these Netflix Marvel shows. The Punisher, Daredevil, Luke Cage, The Defenders, Jessica Jones. I've been watching them all since day one. And I know a lot of people say like, oh, Jessica Jones wasn't great, or, Luke Cage wasn't great. In my personal opinion, Daredevil season 1 and 2 has not fallen off. It's only gotten better. Season 1 was great. Season 2 it blew the doors off of season 1 and took it to somewhere I didn't even think it could go, and just got super crazy, ultra violent. I was like, holy crap, like this is awesome. Jessica Jones for me was good. I liked the whole season personally. Luke Cage, toward the middle of the season, kind of fell off for me after the stuff that happens with Cottonmouth. For those of you that have seen it, it falls off for me because Cottonmouth was kind of the bigger baddies that I liked, and it kind of falls off. Iron Fist, we won't even talk about. The Defenders was good. I watched The Defenders earlier this year, and I liked it. I thought it was good. It has its episodes where it's awesome. It's kind of the redemption of Danny Rand in the Iron Fist, I would say, because they don't treat him like just a baby whiner. He's kind of this powerful Iron Fist, and he's a good asset, to the team. And man, the episode where they all meet up for the first time and fight the Hand in that office building. Oh my God, that was insane. I loved just seeing him and Luke Cage together, just kicking ass and just whipping everyone in that office space. That was awesome for me. I love that. So that was cool. But now the Punisher, oh my God. Jon Bernthal as a Punisher is probably the most perfect casting for any superhero I've seen outside of the Marvel Universe. Like, you could not have picked anybody more perfect for that role. Jon Bernthal as the Punisher is insane. He's crazy. He's violent. He's just oh my God, I don't even know how to describe it because it's super good. Like, it's perfect. Like, when you look at Jon Bernthal, you're like, that is the Punisher. That's not Jon Bernthal. That's the Punisher. And the season of him just getting in with the government as the Punisher usually does, and being a soldier, and then having his family killed, by the government, and then going after them for killing his family, and unveiling all these secrets and going after all these higher ups, and these people are like, do you know who you're dealing with? That's Jon Bernthal. That's a Punisher, man. Like, you can't get at Frank Castle. So, and him being just this force of nature, just coming after these people, knowing that you can try to stop him, but he has one goal set in mind, and everyone in front of him is just bodies to drop for him. And just to see how violent this show is gonna be. It's going to be crazy. I have a feeling that this show is going to be a bloodbath. I really do, because to know what he did in Daredevil, if you've seen Daredevil season 2, that prison scene alone, just murdering those people in that prison hall, and then him in the diner, and just every time he's on screen, somebody dies gruesomely. To give him a show now to build on his character and to shed a light on that, it's going to be a bloodbath. So I'm really excited to see the Punisher. He's one of my favorite Marvel anti-heroes, I guess you can kind of label him as. And just to see where Frank Castle goes is going to be really, really exciting. But all right, guys, that'd be it for today's video. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you liked today's podcast, about the entertainment and games that I'm looking forward to. Make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoy these podcasts. I enjoy doing them, and I hope everyone else does as well. But all right, guys, that's it for me today. I look forward to the next podcast, and I will see you all in the next adventure. Bye, guys.